Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of today's home tour. I'm your host, Jason Will, real estate broker with Blueprint Realty Company. And today we're in Arley, Alabama. It's a beautiful spring day. Temperatures in the lower 70-degree range. So it's really, really nice today. And we're going to do something a little bit different. Okay. So we've been typically previewing really nice listings on the lake, and not that this one isn't nice, but it's more of an introductory property to the lake. So is there a way that you can kind of ease into this Smith Lake lifestyle without having this big grand budget to do so, to buy or to build? You know, some people just buy lots and they put docks on them. So there's a lot of different ways people get creative to start enjoying the Smith Lake lifestyle. You know, right now, like this is the time of year where people are really starting to get excited about, you know, the lake season ahead, and you don't have to wait. Okay. You don't have to wait to do this. I've talked about in other videos the fact that my wife, who is a senior loan officer with Mortgage Right in Birmingham, has a loan product by which you can buy a piece of land. You can buy a mobile home like this one, although it would be brand new. The loan encompasses the infrastructure, you know, the septic tank, whether you need a driveway, a lot of different improvements. So there's a lot of creative ways to get in on the lake lifestyle without having, you know, 500 grand or above to get everything done that you need to. So even Justin Dyer, who's the listing agent on this property, has in his agent remarks to use this existing structure to get here on the lake and start enjoying the lake lifestyle, to not wait, get this thing in your portfolio and in time for Memorial Weekend. Let's go, y'all. So this is a viable strategy, but I'm going to talk about the pros, the cons of this particular property. Just going to be brutally honest with my thoughts on it, and you can kind of take it from there. But if you want information about that loan program, give my wife a call. It's 251-508-1336. You have to have a 700 credit score. You got to have 10% to put down, but on an unrestricted lot, you can put a brand new mobile home, finance a lot of the improvements with the property, and really get into it with a small out-of-pocket investment. So that's something you guys should really check out. All right, so I'm gonna stop rambling, and we're gonna start to focus on this property now, and we're gonna start to evaluate the investment upsides and downsides of this one. So without further ado, I need a drink of water. Let's get started. All right, y'all. So one thing I hear quite often is that people want a paved road all the way to their property. The pavement ends and the gravel begins. You can kind of see where the transition starts, hopefully just up there. So I'm going to pan around here to our subject property. Here it is. Now, I want to back up here and show you this sign right here. It says, "Do not block driveway." So with this particular property, you would either need to do some dirt work here to create more parking, because there's very limited parking because you share this driveway with the other property owner here. So you either really need to have a really great relationship with your neighbor, where they're going to allow you to use some of this abundance of parking space that they have there. Because you can see here on the opposite side of the trailer is another, really the only parking spot that has been formally created for this property as of yet. And you might be able to squeeze in a couple small vehicles side by side there, but in all likelihood, you're probably going to have a truck or something bigger. So first thing I'm noticing with this property is parking is limited. So we want to keep that in mind. All right, y'all, we're lakeside here on a covered and open deck space here, overlooking a little inlet location here. It's really peaceful, nice breeze blowing today, really, really nice. Before we go inside, I want to give you a few more details on this mobile home itself. Okay. So built in 1999, it's just shy of 1,300 square feet. And the asking price on this property is $229,000. One of the lowest properties with a dwelling, not just a lot and a dock, but you've got lot, you got house or dwelling, and then you've got a very modest dock down here, which we'll go take a look at in a second. But we're really going to evaluate this thing very honestly, like I also mentioned, and we're really going to focus on the lot itself, because if we take the premise from the listing agent remarks, and we are selling ourselves on the fact that we can use this dwelling as an introductory dwelling, that would mean to me that we need to have a lot and a lot location that we really, really value, that we could see expanding on a property, maybe replacing it with a custom home one day. And this lot is very, very steep. And again, we're going to go underneath it, and I'm going to show you what I mean. There's some erosion issues that I've noticed right off the bat, but we're going to take a look at the inside first. Let's do that, and then we'll get to the lot itself. Because at 229, right here on the lake, we might be talking about a property that's basically at lot value, right? You've got a dwelling, but with the dock and the land, you know, it's priced right, because even with nothing on this lot, you know, it might be worth 200,000. I don't think that's the case with this one, and I'm going to make the case moving forward as to why. So stay tuned. Let's get going. All right, so my thoughts on the interior. We've got a ceiling that looks like it's in pretty good shape. You know, it's probably been painted and patched up a little bit, because there is evidence that there might have been some water intrusion in the kitchen at one point in time. The walls have pretty well been painted throughout. I saw a couple little patches where they still need to do some touch up. Modest living space. Like I said, it's under 1,300 square feet, but I mean, you can essentially come in here, do some work in here in the kitchen, and get it livable and have yourself a place to enjoy, you know, late spring and all summer and into the good weather months of the fall. So just start living that lake lifestyle like right now. So interior wise, this is looking pretty good to me. I could work with this, right? I could fix this up. They've already done the painting for me. I could come in and just deep clean this thing, maybe put a butcher block countertop here in the kitchen, you know, kind of dress it up a little bit. Well, I say big primary suite, but if you get over here, this is kind of a divider right here. This is really where the transition from ensuite living space to your ensuite bath is, kind of this divider right here. So you can see it starts right there, because you have a very small just water closet and shower area here. All right, so let's go check out the other side. We got two guest suites and a full guest bath this way. Looks like they painted the interior. A little kind of single bunk configuration there. Got our guest bath here. A And then modest guest suite here on the end. All right, this is what I really wanted to show y'all here. Got some erosion happening here. But given the steepness of the lot, so I can bring dirt. You can see where this dirt has all washed out from here. I can bring in dirt, put a bulkhead here. That's going to be really expensive. So there's going to be a lot of dirt work here to be done in order to put a structure besides a double wide trailer on it like this, because really, as the condition of the lot as it is right now, double wide is probably the best you're going to do without a significant amount of dirt work, bulkhead work, which is typically very, very expensive. So with this lot, given the shared access, the limited size of the lot for parking, for structure, for all the things, this is really just conducive to a mobile home only. So if you're good with that, you're going to be good with this lot. It's just, can we get it at the right price? Because I do feel like $229 for what I'm seeing right here. You could probably do a little bit better on price. And I'm thinking you're probably thinking the same thing. So this is out of my area of expertise quite a bit, but I'd be thinking like you could put a nice bulkhead here, fill all this in with dirt, and then have, space for a nice size structure, nice little cabin or so. And then you wouldn't have very many steps to the lake. And so you could probably improve your parking situation with that. But like I said, bulkheading and filling all this in with dirt is probably going to price you out of this particular property. So you'd really have to be able to make peace with what you've got here, or, maybe some a little bit more limited dirt work. All right, we're gonna take these steps down to the dock and see what's going on down here. There's not much of a dock here, but there is a dock, so that's a plus. And look, we're just talking about getting in, getting our foot in the door here on this lake lifestyle. Not all of us have really deep pockets, but we got to start somewhere, right? And that's what we're talking about here today, as a starting point at which you can invest in the lake and introduce your family to a higher quality of life, summer adventures at the lake house, So if all I had was this, I'm telling you, I could make it into everything I need it to be for the time being, if that makes sense. And so getting down here, lots of signs that the soil, the roots, everything is just shifting towards the lake. So even if you didn't want to expand the useful area of this lot, you're going to have to address this at some point. This big thick tree is on right here is moving, it's shifting towards my direction, which you don't want it to fall on your deck and damage your dock. Oh boy. And then as I look down here, I didn't bring my muck boots, so we may not be going to the dock, and it may not be such a great idea to attempt it to begin with. All right, y'all. So let's just do our lakeside evaluation from here so I can keep my feet dry and keep from falling in the lake, which would be funny. I do recognize that. But yeah, it needs some work down here. The boards I'm standing on appear to be relatively new, but it's not all that sturdy. So I think even the stairs down here to my direction on the lake needs some work. There needs to be some reinforcement on the steps, some reinforcement on our deck right here, and definitely some attention needs to be paid to this dock, the gangway, and I'm guessing this is an old swim platform. It looks like they're just using it to prop up the walkway down to the dock itself, but I'm not really sure what's going on. You might think, as we're evaluating, like what would be a good value or maybe even qualify as a deal on Smith Lake. I'm seeing a lot of out-of-pocket expenses that are going to be required here just to make this livable and safe for my family if I was going to be investing in it. And again, I just don't see long-term value in this lot. Let's see if I can, yeah, I'm just not seeing it. So if this lot was really, really workable, we'd have a different situation here, right? We'd be like, all right, well, we'll fix this up. We'll patch it up. We'll get a couple summers out of it and we'll save our pennies. And then as we're able, we'll build on this. We'll improve on the land. But this is not a means to an end, in my opinion, sadly. For somebody it may be, but I'm looking for something that not only can I buy and enjoy, but that will be a profit gaining asset in my portfolio, an investment that will have a future upside that I can put on the market and sell and make some money, and then use that profit to propel me to the next lake home that's a little bit bigger, a little bit better, a little bit nicer. I'm afraid with this one that in order to create that opportunity with this specific listing, it's going to require too much out of pocket in terms of an initial investment for it to be safe, sanitary, and secure. So I'm out on this one. All right, y'all, we're going to sign off from one of my favorite places to do so. We got the upper deck overlooking the lower deck, which overlooks the dock. And as those words are coming out of my mouth, I'm thinking, gosh, is this a pretty good value? Am I being too harsh on this property at $229,000? I mean, what could you possibly get that has this much infrastructure, living space, move-in ready capability to it on Smith Lake for this price point? And it's not much, right? So I don't think this is it, given all the evidence that we've uncovered with, the slope of the lot, the erosion, the cost of the dirt work. And then after all that's done, you still don't have a really nice lot that you can build your dream house on. I'm not looking for shared access. I know some of you might watch this and go, hey, sign me up, and I'll write this thing up. Just text me 251-583-9728 and we'll write this sucker up. But I think what I've done inadvertently is really created an infomercial for my wife's loan program, the mobile home loan program. Got to be a double wide, needs to be fairly new, got to have a nice credit score at 700 minimum, got to have at least 10% to put down, but you can actually go out there and get the lot that you want, a generational lot. If you don't find that perfect lot, that's a generational lot, and you're looking for that intro property that you can live in and enjoy for a few years and then sell it and then, build upon that investment, this is not it. But those properties do exist on the lake, and we'll find them together, right? If you want to see everything that's listed on the lake here, go to smithlakeactivelistings.com. You can adjust that gallery search by price. So you can price it from highest to lowest or lowest to highest, whatever you want to do there. And then if you're interested in learning more about this loan program, because I'm telling you, listen, these mobile homes have come a long way since 1999, all right? Some of them are just absolutely fine, and they've got amazing features like kitchen islands and granite and all the things, that today's modern buyer is really looking for. I think this is an attractive, very attractive option for some of you out there, and you should give my wife a call right now at 251-508-1336. If you want to be super proactive and just fill out the application and then she'll call you. Web address to that online application is dianawillteam.com. Again, I'm your host, Jason Will, real estate broker at Blueprint Realty Company, and we'll be back soon with another episode of today's home tour on Smith Lake. See y'all soon.